This is an act of the historic momentum. We're driving up to the stadium, headed to FedEx Field. You're going to see our own evolution in the fan experience. We have a new season ticket member lounge that is really trying to bring the value to them that they've been asking for some time. And then, in particular tonight, I'm excited because we really tie back to the trailblazers of this franchise by honoring Bobby Mitchell, the first black player on this team.
Nearly 60 years after being the last franchise to integrate its roster, the Washington football team became the first to hire a black president, Jason Wright.
There was a very intentional breaking of a barrier. And I think the legacy of Bobby Mitchell is that we have a minority head coach, minority team president, minority GM, all former players. We have the first black woman full-time coach in the NFL. So this is an act of the historic momentum that people like Bobby created and many others before us created. And so that we are part of that legacy.
It's 8 hours before kickoff.
Thank you, Maxwell. Appreciate you, man. All right, I'll see you up there.
And the 39-year-old Northwestern grad is on the move.
How are you?
Let's go Washington.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, guys. Thanks for what you're doing.
On this game day, Wright's duties range from executive leadership meetings.
There's a buzz that is being built around all the energy that we're all putting in around a game like this.
To an update on the team's future name.
We are down to 3, and I'm super grateful to our fans for being the drivers of this, giving us candid input and informing every aspect of the design process. It allowed me to get to know our fans so I can understand how much this means to them. It's in their hearts. Good? Okay, good.
Thank you.
Of course, man. Have a good evening. Yes.
Thank you, my friend.
All right.
As the president of the organization, I'm on the grind, trying to help this organization continue to transform its culture, build a solid business, innovate, treat our fans well.
Like I'm picturing season ticket members who have never met each other.
Yep.
Sitting across, getting to know each other, building the bonds, and then they decide to tailgate together. This is like community building design space. I love it.
When I think about my life, the twists and turns, actually it's a humbling thought because there's no way I could have contrived it. So much of it was fortuitous in that someone opened a door for me or made an introduction at the right time. Some of the stuff that happened was just so grace-filled and so serendipitous. It's hard for me to look at my path with anything but a bit of humility and recognition that I really didn't do it, and I'm grateful for it.
For 7 years, Wright was an NFL journeyman, appearing in 80 games for 3 teams.
Touchdown Cardinals!
And like Hall of Famer Bobby Mitchell, he was versatile.
They're going to run right side, Jason Wright to the 2, to the 1, touchdown!
Oh, isn't that something?
Wright didn't have Hall of Fame stats. He finished his career with 633 yards rushing and 5 touchdowns.
Jason Wright hits Pater.
But he was always there when needed.
I'm going to give you a direct quote from one of my teammates that I think was the best thing anyone ever said about me as a player. He said, "Jay Wright, you are the spare tire of NFL running backs. When you need it, you are the most valuable thing on the car, but you don't want it on there forever. You want to put it back in the trunk at some point until you're in an emergency again."
So what does that mean?
So what that means is I was eminently reliable. I could play multiple positions. I could play tailback, fullback. I could play slot if you needed me to. I played all the special teams. I was a special teams captain.
Put your heart out there on kickoff. You know what I'm saying? Run like you never run. You know what I'm saying? It's my shot.
The reliable backup retired in 2011. He earned his MBA from the University of Chicago, then worked for a consulting firm for nearly a decade.
I sort of cut my teeth with McKinsey & Company, an amazing firm that develops talent, business talent all over the world, and just built my business chops. Learned how to run a business, advised some of the senior-most executives around the world, and then got the opportunity to lead myself and to step from the advisor chair to the operator chair, and I've enjoyed it. I think there's a couple things that come to mind when I think about being the first. The first thing is owning that narrative a bit to honor the folks that came before. The Kevin Warrens of the world. He was the COO of the Vikings, did my job and everything, but title alone. So it's about honoring folks like that to say, look, there's some folks that put a whole bunch of cracks in the proverbial glass ceiling, and so it's important to talk about being the first in honor of them and respect for them.
Being the first came with a heavy lift. Wright was tasked with rebuilding the franchise's image.
I think there's something that we can accomplish as an organization that Ron has already set into motion on the football side of the house, that we're attempting to set in motion here on the business side. First, by recomposing our leadership team in a way that has diverse voices weighing in on the most important decisions. Is really business forward, trying to think outside of the box to establish this as a great place to work.
Jason Wright, he's come in with great ideas. He runs the business side, I run the football side. We collaborate, we work together. I'm excited about that. I'm excited about the inclusion that we have in terms of the diversity of our staffs.
All of those things are part of how we think we can lead and show that an organization that had a reputation for being one way, or maybe had a way of operating that went a certain way, can actually transform. And in a sense, just show that evolution and growth and change is still possible in an era of cynicism.
Cynicism is easy. Courage is hard. But breaking down barriers demands it. It always has. Jason Wright understands history, which is why he's confident of Washington's future.
Thank you so much.
As it pertains to this role, I hope what people take away from my time here is the transformed experience they have when they're at FedEx Field or in our new venue. That they felt they were in a partnership with this team.
You know enough people here, but let me know.
Yeah, thank you. No, appreciate
of course.
it. Yeah.
And if you worked here, that your career, your trajectory, your gifts, and your purpose were important to us, and we invested in you as a human being. That's about the best I can hope for.